Hello， 好啦，歡迎大家嚟到不務正業。而家已經係2點幾啦，我決定呢集應該會一剔過，因為自己實在冇咩時間去執太多。之前仲話考試之前唔會再錄多集，不過今晚同朋友去咗睇第2次 Oppenheimer 啦，佢第一次睇，我第2次睇。然後我就覺得算啦，今晚都係溫唔到書啦，就都係會喺度諗呢套戲，因為我自己實在太中意呢套戲，我覺得都真係幾震撼，同埋睇第2次都真係一個好好嘅 experience， 所以自己都係翻去諗，寫低咗啲諗法，然後都係決定錄埋呢一集。之前其實 draft 咗即係 movie club 嗰集呢，想講 Barbenheimer 嘅，但係其實我同我身邊嘅朋友喺過去嘅幾星期都被捲入咗一個 Barbie 嘅漩渦，即係 for some reason 呢套戲係極度 controversial 啦，即係佢所講嘅 issues 啊，即係 feminism 啊、父權主義啊，即係呢啲 issues 係都真係 take up 咗個 attention for a significant amount of time to an extent where 我 draft 嗰一集 Barbenheimer 其實我諗有 80% 都係 Barbie， 然後剩翻嗰 20% 即係少少賴過 Oppenheimer 咁樣啦。但係 as wonderful as it is that 即係我哋有呢個 cultural phenomenon that is Barbenheimer， 同埋其實 Barbie 呢套戲對於我嚟講我係中意嘅，即係我覺得 it is a very well made movie in its own right. Greta Gerwig did a pretty damn good job， 但係始終你問我 preference 即係純粹個人喜好， Oppenheimer 對我嚟講個意義個 significance 係大好多。 It deserves its own episode. It demands its own episode. 咁其實點解我會咁中意呢套戲，即係點解我會咁 drawn to it？ 我諗唔多唔少，即係個 subject matter 一定係有啲關係嘅。即係我自己 baseline 係中意 physics 嘅， I'm not especially good at it， 尤其是過晒即係中學啊 DSE 啊，我而家已經還翻晒啲嘢俾我嘅 physics 老師，但係我係中意嘅，即係 the interest remains. Somehow it seems that for layman 而言，我哋係會 tend to romanticize 呢啲嘢嘅，即係呢啲好專嘅 knowledge， 一啲我哋未必常人係會接觸到或者 grasp 到嘅一啲 knowledge 或者 professions 咁樣。我哋會 romanticize 音樂啦，即係好似喺 TAR 裏邊咁樣，即係我哋會想像究竟一個 musician 佢嘅世界係點嘅咧，佢聽到嘅世界會係點嘅咧，又或者好似喺 A Beautiful Mind、The Imitation Game 咁樣，我哋亦都會 romanticize mathematicians 究竟佢哋嘅內心世界或者佢哋經歷緊嘅嘢係點嘅咧。個 opening scene of 個 movie，the way Christopher Nolan 嘗試去 visualize 呢一個 completely 即係 new unseen world of quantum physics 咁樣，嘗試去 visualize Oppenheimer 腦海裏邊嘅一啲 images， 一啲異於常人嘅 visions 或者諗法。 What's troubling him underneath, what's tormenting him underneath, that's so beautiful but also horrifying at the same time。 即係我覺得呢件事係個 opening scene 已經好震撼啦，再加上即係當你知道原來佢係冇用 CGI 嘅，即係嘗試去 organically 呈現呢樣嘢，同埋佢 took the effort 去同一啲 physicist 傾偈啊，即係 just to have 一個 better understanding of 佢哋個世界。我覺得係真係個 outcome 係好 breathtaking， and it kind of sets the tone for the rest of the movie. It started in Oppenheimer's head啦, and that's also where we came back to, so after all that has happened, after all the bombings, the politics, everything, the end of the entire movie, we're back in Oppenheimer's head. 咁另外一樣嘢我覺得好 remarkable 嘅就係 the way sound is used in this movie 啊，即係我諗唔需要再多講佢點樣即係喺個 atomic bomb 爆炸嘅時候嗰個 scene 係 completely silent 啦。That's also how reality works， 即係你見到個光先，咁佢 exaggerate 咗嗰個 time lag 啦。After the dead silence， 佢一下子咁樣勁大聲傳嚟嗰個爆炸聲，咁嗰個效果係更加震撼啦。但係除此之外，我都好中意佢點樣用個 sound 去 show 到個 duality of it all， 即係呢個亦都係 throughout 成套戲都有 explore 一樣嘢，即係 Oppenheimer 呢個人嘅事蹟，佢成世即係佢呢個故事 is both a triumph and 一個 tragedy。 咁喺個 sound 度，我覺得最 remarkable 嘅一個位就係當個 Trinity test 成功咗啦，即係 obviously everybody was celebrating， 然後 Oppenheimer 就要去俾一個 speech 啦。咁當佢行入嗰個 stadium， 所有人係喺度歡呼啊、揼地啊、鼓掌啊，咁嗰種 rumbling 其實係好 reminiscent of 個 bomb going off 已經。但係之後即係當我哋有 close-ups of Oppenheimer 個樣，我哋知道佢內心其實係經歷緊好沉重、好 serious 嘅一啲 moral deliberations， 一啲良心嘅掙扎啊。我諗佢比任何人都清楚，即係呢一個 atomic bomb 嘅殺傷力啦。當佢內心喺度 struggle 咁樣呢啲嘢嘅時候，我哋其實喺個 sound 度聽到有啲歡呼聲啊，嗰啲係慢慢 morph 咗 into 慘叫聲嘅。咁嗰度個效果，我覺得係做得好好嘅。It's also very cool because they do sound very similar. And 你知道，即係當你 drop 一個 atomic bomb 落一個地方嘅時候，其實即係 this duality exists in real life too。即係一方面會有人 celebrate 緊呢件事 ，the success of it all； 一方面係有人慘叫緊，有人承受緊個 consequence of it all。咁成出戲充滿呢啲 duality， 即係包括 the magnitude of 呢一個 scientific breakthrough， 即係整咗呢一個 bomb 出嚟 ，its impact 係 not limited to 個 scientific field 啦，佢有好 significant 嘅 implications on 整個地球。The magnitude of this versus 呢啲好 trivial、好細、好 man-made 嘅 matters， 即係包括啲 politics 啊嗰啲，即係 Strauss 佢哋喺度玩弄政治啊。But at the same time 呢啲嘢始終都係 expand 到去一個咁大嘅 scale， 即係 got so out of hand。咁其實呢個亦都正正係 foreshadowed by Nolan，when 佢一開波喺彩色畫面度佢寫住 fission， 然後當我哋第一次見黑白 shot， 第一次見到 Strauss 嘅時候，佢嗰度寫住嘅係 fusion， 一個 even bigger chain reaction set off by the initial fission reaction。咁我諗喺度 briefly 提一提就係 the soundtrack of 呢套戲係我真係唔使多講啦，即係 it's written by Ludwig Göransson and it is beautiful， 即係佢係完全係一個 integral part of 呢套戲，好似冇咗 John Williams 就唔會有 Harry Potter 或者 Jurassic Park 咁樣，冇咗呢一個 soundtrack 我都覺得會差一大截咯呢套戲。咁佢嘅 beauty 同埋 complexity 亦都完全可以 complement 到 what we're seeing 啦，即係 the visuals on screen。我好中意佢揀咗用 violin 嚟做一個好 fundamental 嘅 part of the soundtrack 嘅，即係呢個其實係 requested by Christopher Nolan 嘅，因為 violins 佢可以做到一種好 tense 好 high strung 嘅效果。And when you think about it， 音樂都只不過係一啲 vibrations in the air， 咁 it's also as if Nolan 其實係即係我哋喺畫面上面見到嘅 quantum physics 個世界嗰啲 waves 啊，其實 it's also as if 佢係 visualize 緊個 music 嗰啲 sound waves 啊 ，and it looks so wonderful. It also sounds so wonderful. 即係呢套戲 is such a treat to both your eyes and your ears。咁講呢套戲其實好難唔提一提 Christopher Nolan 啦 ，the man of the hour。我諗 to say that 佢嘅 significance to 個 film industry 係 as 舉足輕重 as Oppenheimer was to 即係 theoretical physics or just physics， 係完全冇誇大到。我諗我唔會講太 in depth about Nolan 啦，但係如果我要講一樣我最中意嘅嘢 about Christopher Nolan， 我諗一定係佢嘅 storytelling skills 咯。Oppenheimer 呢套戲其實係冇咩 gimmick 嘅，對比起嚟佢嘅 previous works， 即係 Inception 啦，哇係 a dream and a dream and a dream 咁樣幾層，又或者 Tenet 咁樣，即係啲時間調轉嚟行啊，即係呢套戲 relatively 係冇 gimmick 嘅，即係雖然即係的確佢都有Kodak 特登整咗個 black and white 嘅菲林俾佢拍啊，呢套戲冇 CGI 啊 ，but also 即係 relatively speaking。同埋呢套戲亦都特別在佢唔係一個 plot driven 嘅 movie 嘅，即係所有人都知 a guy builds an atomic bomb 完咁樣，但係 I think it's the way 就係 the way he makes us care about 你一個 random guy， 你 feel 到呢套戲係好有 heart and soul 嘅，而每個 scene 嘅 weight 每個 scene 嘅 gravity，the care that Christopher Nolan gives to each character， 即係呢套戲其實好多名嘅，即係第一次睇可能大家都會要追一追啲名，即係有 Teller 啊，成班科學家啊 Bors 啊 Kitty 啊 Jane 啊，但係其實當你細心睇，同埋 especially on my second viewing， 佢每個人物都係好 solid 嘅，好 three-dimensional 嘅。Nobody was just 一個 side character。你係會摸到，你係會睇到 each of their personality， 佢哋嘅 flaws， 佢哋嘅 concerns， 佢哋嘅 struggles。And the care that went into 即係 Nolan 去講 Oppenheimer 呢個 story。Of course 佢有一個好好嘅文本去參考啦， American Prometheus 嗰本書。但係 it's how he， 我好中意佢個 weighting 嘅，其實即係佢前半套戲主要係講個就係發明個 atomic bomb 啦， the part that everybody is familiar with， 但係後半其實即係佢係花 as much time as much 筆墨去 address the uglier side of things， 即係 the consequences the aftermath， 即係好似 Einstein 喺套戲咁樣講，其實 this is just the beginning， now you have to deal with the consequences of 你嘅 scientific breakthrough 咁樣。 and I really liked it。Nolan 係真係 do 咗 Oppenheimer 嘅 story justice， 即係佢話佢係 Prometheus 啊點點點，因為佢成出戲一開始其實就係有個 Prometheus related 嘅 quote 啦。我第一次睇嘅時候覺得係有啲娘嘅，即係好似chucking out Greek mythology right from the beginning 咁樣啦。但係睇完之後你就發覺其實佢唔係純粹好 careless 咁樣 throw in 呢一個 Greek mythology reference， 佢係真係呈現到 and 真係 convince 到我點解 Oppenheimer 係 the modern day Prometheus。 咁當然其實我哋冇辦法知道即係呢一個類比係咪完全恰當， we're not sure if Prometheus actually went through all this internal 即係 ethical struggle， 定係其實佢係 like 好 chill 咁樣就決定俾咗火俾 mankind 啦。and 始終其實 Prometheus 係即係 there's a power dynamic there， Prometheus 係一個 titan 去賜一樣嘢佢俾 mankind， whereas in Oppenheimer's case 佢係 man to man， sure 佢係一個好 brilliant 嘅 scientist but still just man to man。Which brings me to 另一個 aspect of the film that I absolutely love， 就係 the ethical part 啦，即係個 moral dilemma part of Oppenheimer 嘅故事。因為我諗係當你 realize 即係 the gravity of 呢件事，當你 realize 即係呢個完全唔係一個 hypothetical situation 嚟嘅， all this actually did happen in history， it was a legitimate decision that somebody had to make。Oppenheimer was actually put in the position to 決定究竟係繼唔繼續去 build 呢一個 bomb knowing full well its implications。 The entire process of lessening 佢自己嘅 guilt， 即係we're just the guys making the bomb but 我哋唔 get to decide how it's used to an extent where 佢其實係連自己都說服到嘅。 The fact that 即係歷史上係 actually有一班人有一個人決定去撳個粒掣 for 個 Trinity test even though there is a near zero chance of igniting the entire atmosphere。 然後其中一個 Oppenheimer 去到 after the success of the atomic bomb 之後俾人捽得最勁嘅一個位就係即係點解佢會 suddenly do a 180 from the point of 一個 outsider， 佢突然之間有嗰種所謂嘅 moral qualms， 好似突然之間好 bothered by the moral weight of building bombs， 即係佢俾個 prosecuting side 嗰個律師就係問佢點解咁你 build 個 atomic bomb 嘅時候你冇諗過呢啲嘢嘅咩？即係點解當美國想整個 hydrogen bomb 嘅時候，點解你突然之間會企出嚟咁 oppose 呢樣嘢嘅？其中一個 fellow scientist 都 accuse 佢 of being too confusing and complex and difficult to understand。 但我睇嘅時候我就係覺得 dude, this is exactly what human beings are. Human beings are complex and nuanced and 我哋會今天的我打到昨天的我，即係我哋就係不斷地 review 自己嘅 decisions， 自己嘅 moral code。 即係 I thought from what I saw portrayed in the movie， 我會 convinced by 我會企喺 Oppenheimer 嗰邊啦。又或者好似 Strauss 最後佢嗰個 hearing， 佢個助手問咗佢一句 Do humans really need a reason to do the right thing？ 即係 Is it possible that Oppenheimer 唔係啲咩 scheming， 即係唔係為咗自己嘅 fame， 為咗要帶個光環，為咗做個烈士 or whatever， 即係 Is there a chance that he was just doing the right thing？ 佢開始意識到即係 as time passes， 有機會呢樣嘢會觸發一個 arms race 喎，即係 we should 呢個係一個好嘅時機去提出管制 nuclear weapons 喎。Is it possible that 係真係出於佢自己一個 moral realization? I think so。咁我頭先一開始有 briefly 提到，我今日睇嘅 version 係個35mm film version 啦。我第一次睇嘅時候其實係睇 IMAX 嘅，咁 IMAX 就真係好靚啦，即係勁大 screen、超高清畫面、超 sharp， 個爆炸好震撼咁樣啦。咁但係今日睇嗰個 version 其實我自己係比較中意嘅，我唔知係即係有啲 bias， 即係我中意玩開菲林，即係自己啲 analog 嘅喜好定係點樣，但係有一啲好 factual 嘅 differences 就係例如佢啲光嘅位，即係佢啲白色嘅位呢，如果你專心睇得耐嘅話呢，你係會見到個好微弱嘅 flickering 嘅，然後你就會醒起哦係喎，因為佢 run 緊啲帶嘅嘛，即係暗嗰啲位你冇咁覺嘅，但係光嗰啲位你係會見到佢有啲喺度微弱地閃動咁樣嘅。咁另外就係其實都比我想象中多瑕疵嘅，即係可能始終佢好 analog 咁樣 run 緊餅帶咧。有時畫面中間啊、右上角啊嗰啲會閃過一啲即係例如黑色或者白色嘅一啲，我唔知嗰啲叫咩，即係啲瑕疵，我唔知係咪 foreign body 定係咩嚟嘅。但係總之就係it's not perfect。And somehow 呢樣嘢係好 compliment 到，即係佢好 match 嗰套戲嘅時代感咯，我覺得。And sometimes even better， 佢係會 match 埋個 music 嘅，即係喺套戲有啲位咧，尤其是佢哋喺度 build 緊個 bomb 嘅時候，有啲位佢特登係擺咗好多 static 落去嘅，即係喺度窒機咁樣窒。當佢 match 到嗰個35mm film run 緊嘅時候，即係又係喺嗰啲位有啲瑕疵，嗰種 feel 係好夾嘅。另一個要提到嘅 difference 就係的確 35mm 嗰啲色係好似再 saturated 多少少。I wouldn't say 係 sharp 啲色 ，it's just more saturated。同埋黑白嗰啲 scenes 咧，其實我 Google 過，唔知係咪一個 common phenomenon 啊，定係 it varies from 戲院定戲院。但係我喺太古城睇嗰個 version 咧，佢啲黑白 scenes 係都幾綠嘅，即係佢個 green tint 係明顯嘅。咁呢樣嘢冇話好壞啦，即係個人喜好啦。我兩個 version 都睇咗，咁我自己就如果俾我揀再睇多次，我可能都會揀睇35mm。同埋第一次同睇第二次嘅分別就係嗰種我個感覺係有唔同嘅。Unfortunately 第一次睇我係朝早晏晝嗰啲時間睇嘅，咁睇完之後呢，個人完全係浮咗半日咯，即係其實套戲都幾disturbing, and I think it's one of Nolan's intentions as well， 即係 it is meant to be disturbing。 但係反而今次睇第二次嘅時候呢，我覺得個過程即係睇嘅過程沉重過我踏出戲院嗰下，即係 during the movie 有幾個位係我覺得我 emotional 過我第一次睇嘅，即係包括 the events, the scenes building up to 佢真係撳掣試個 Trinity test 嗰下，即係somehow each scene seemed to have 一個即係再重咗個 significance。 我唔知因為我知道，雖然第一次都知道大概即係個故事係會點樣 go， 但係第二次睇你直情知道晒啲 scene 係點樣 cut 啊，啲穿插大概係點啊，咁好似每個 scene 再重咗少少。咁 on top of that 你開始 free up 咗你嘅心神，即係你唔使再咁要好努力咁樣 figure out， 即係要認得呢啲名，個時序係咁嘅，點樣跳嚟跳去，你多咗心神去 notice 一啲 details， 一啲可能角色之間嘅交流，一個眼神，一個語氣，然後你就開始執到多啲 breadcrumbs， 一啲 hints。原來一開始已經知道 Strauss 係一個咁樣嘅人，原來佢嘅 jealousy 一直都喺度，原來 Teller 一直都係一個咁樣 determination 咁樣主見嘅人，原來 Kitty 一路都係一個咁 charming 咁聰明嘅人，原來 Oppenheimer 一直都係一個咁 complex 咁摸唔透嘅人。咁一路去到最尾個 ending scene 亦都係一個好中意嘅 thing about the movie， 就係個好 intimate 嘅 conversation between Oppenheimer 同埋 Albert Einstein 啦。Back to where it all started， 呢套戲一開始好早已經 show 咗呢一個 scene， 就係 Strauss 去 introduce， 佢以為要 introduce 啦，但係其實佢哋兩個已經識噶啦，就係 when Oppenheimer and Einstein met at Princeton。 佢 kind of build up 到個 scene 係一個即好似係一個 closure 咁樣嘅 ，it's the clarity we needed， 即係我哋需要知道，喂，究竟 Einstein 同埋 Oppenheimer 講咗啲乜嘢呢？究竟呢一個俾 Strauss 無限放大到咁重要嘅一個對話係講乜嘢呢？咁但係好似 Boris 對 Oppenheimer 咁樣講，你揭開嚿石頭 ，Are you ready for the snake underneath？ 原來呢個係 Nolan 最後嘅一個 trick， 就係、明明呢個 scene係 supposed to be 一個 closure，turns out 佢係俾咗一個好 unsettling 嘅一個結局，一個 hypothesis 俾我哋。原本我哋係 supposed to feel relieved， 成套戲完啦，即係Trinity test 又完咗 ，Strauss 又失敗咗。的確個 atomic bomb 係 put an end to 呢一個 world war，but 呢個係咪只不過係一個 illusion 呢？呢一個 temporary peace。其實我係咪已經 set off 咗呢一個 chain reaction 呢？我諗 to sum it all up， 就係 I just think this is 一個 truly spectacular film。我其實想 end 呢個 episode with 一個 PSA of 少少 urgency。最近咪打風嘅，this is such a shit transition。但係最近呢一兩個禮拜，我哋經歷咗10號風球啦。我哋經歷咗唔知幾百年一遇嘅黑雨啦，香港周圍水浸啦。It is 我哋一定要 acknowledge 呢樣嘢，就係雖然 memes and viral videos and everything， 但係我哋要 acknowledge this is 一個 natural， 即係 it's a disaster， 係已經去到個 level where 我哋係 definitely 毫不猶豫地係應該 classify it as 一個 disaster。其實呢啲 climate related 嘅 events 周圍都發生緊，即係經過今次其實都有好多相關嘅 news 係有 pop up in 我哋嘅 local media， 即係你見周圍其實水浸啊、地震啊，即係世界各地呢一啲亦都係 happening at 一個 increasing frequency 啊。但係 I guess 即係 ultimately it takes 真係要浸到埋嚟先至 get 到我哋嘅 attention 啦。咁其實我有朋友都 point out 咗就係、其實 climate change 呢回事即係佢係讀嗰個 field， 去讀 geography。其實 with or without humans， climate change is a thing， 即係地球係會 naturally go through 一啲 climate cycles， 又或者一啲重大嘅 climate events，which 即係基本上會改變晒成個地球嘅生態嘅樣，即係例如 ice age，which I think is absolutely correct。It does， 即係 it's a fact。不過我覺得呢個係一個比較 nuanced take。on climate change， 即係 it's more complex， it requires a certain degree of scientific knowledge 同埋 thinking。 If 呢一個 piece of information gets carelessly handled， 即係例如 as 一個 bite-sized scientific knowledge， 即係procrastination helps creativity，climate change is normal， 即係我覺得 the general public might receive 呢一個 piece of news as所以係唔關我哋事嘅，唔關人類事嘅， so like 我哋可以繼續 睇錢啊、唔環保啊點樣。I think I feel like this requires much more reading， 所以 I guess for now， for the purposes of 呢一個 PSA， let's just assume that climate change is a real thing and that human beings 係 kind of making it worse。 Before呢一個月其實我從來都唔係一個好環保嘅人嚟嘅 to be honest， 但係最近我的確有嘗試 and 最神奇嘅一樣嘢就係原來係可以好容易嘅，原來係可以成為一個 habit 嘅喎。原來以前嘅好多 excuses 係可以推翻，原來一啲睇落好唔方便嘅嘢都唔係真係咁唔方便又或者唔可行嘅喎。我陣間可以講多少少即係 exactly 係做咗啲咩或者點樣做啦，但係 I definitely have some friends to thank 啦， and that includes 即係嗰陣時聽 Yui 同埋 Juniper 嗰一集，啱啱對上我哋呢個 channel upload 嗰集。其實佢哋都俾咗好多 practical 嘅建議，即係究竟可以點樣做，包括用一啲 ocean friendly 嘅 sunscreen 啊，包括你可能去 extend 個 lifespan of 某一啲日常用品啊，即係例如一件衫你爛咗或者點樣，你可唔可以用嚟當係布咁樣用啊等等。咁身邊亦都有好好嘅人係即係親身去 show 到俾我睇 prove 到俾我睇，喂，呢件事係做到嘅喎。例如有 friend 用 collapsible cup， 有 friend回收分類做得好好嘅，咁佢用佢嘅 existence， 佢用佢嘅行動去 prove 咗俾我睇，其實 冇你想象中咁難咯。咁難度其實從來我諗對我或者對好多人嚟講，即係呢個未必係最大嘅關卡啦。At least for 我嚟講，我覺得一個好大嘅 resistance 或者一個問題就係，我覺得冇希望，即係個 hopelessness。你覺得你啲 efforts 係 futile 嘅，即係根本太遲嘅啦而家，又或者唔夠人 care about 呢樣嘢，大家都淨係 care about 錢同埋 progress。咁 all this is true except that 只要你放眼去睇，即係身邊嘅事物新聞，其實 I am convinced that for every person who does not give a fuck about environmental protection, there is someone out there, there is an equal number of people 係好努力咁樣嘗試緊去 fix 呢樣嘢。即係當我見到呢一啲人嘅 efforts， 或者聽到即係例如好似 𝙍𝙤𝙗𝙧， 佢係一個 pioneer， 一個好出名嘅 scientist 啦。當呢一啲人去 talk about having hope， 同埋當年佢哋都覺得未係放棄嘅時候，即係 they're the ones with all the data。地球每年係 heat up 緊幾多，知道啲水位上升幾多，即係 they have the facts， 然後佢哋都未放棄。我覺得我哋唔可以俾 hopelessness 或者 despair 去蒙蔽咗我哋雙眼，即係我哋唔可以 selective 我哋見到嘅嘢，唔可以純粹因為好多香港人真係好唔環保啊而睇唔到嘗試緊嘅嗰班人咯。如果我哋咁樣 negate 晒佢哋嘅 effort， 就咁 conclude 即係冇用噶啦，太遲。咁其實對佢哋嚟講又係咪有啲 unfair 咧？即係 who are we to say that？ 同埋即係 activism 呢樣嘢就係 it's interesting how 其實我哋嘅 hesitation 或者我哋嘅 inaction 咧，其實已經係一種阻力嚟嘅啦。即係我哋唔使刻意去，我哋唔使 anti 環保或者點樣，我哋唔喐，我哋唔做任何嘢，已經係一種阻力嚟。即係好似一班人嘗試推喐一架船 ，and 我哋就咁坐咗喺上邊咯。即係 if we don't participate， 我哋 either get off the boat and 幫手一齊推架船 ，or we could sit there and do nothing and become part of the resistance。我絕對唔係一個 expert 啦 ，in this regard， 即係呢個唔係一個頭盔嚟嘅，即係 I literally started like 可能我覺得呢個月先至叫做好啲啦，但係我都可以 share 一啲可以做到嘅嘢啦，即係 in my own experience。咁例如，因為我飲好多咖啡嘅，咁好多時都要買 take away， 咁 in an attempt to reduce 你用到嘅你 generate 到嘅呢啲 take away containers， 可以考慮用嗰啲可以自己帶 container 啦，即係我自己就用個 collapsible cup 嘅 ，cause I'm lazy and 我覺得佢可以縮到咁細，佢可以 collapse 到，對我嚟講係一個 giant bonus 啦，即係我好在乎呢樣嘢。咁有啲人即係好多 alternatives， 你可以就咁帶個 mug，you know， 保溫壺，即係 same thing。可以最好當然係 reduce 啦，即係源頭嗰度減啦，嗌少啲外賣啊，用少啲外賣盒嗰啲啦。咁但係即係有時 avoid 唔到嘅話，咁 the best you can do 可能就係真係攞去沖咯，即係攞去洗一洗，然後去回收咯。即係呢樣嘢其實我覺得我以為自己做唔到，但係 when it becomes a habit， 原來真係唔係想像中咁難咯。咁而你身邊嘅人，即係屋企人啊、朋友見到，其實可能一開始佢會 like 即係 after all it's something new， 但係佢哋都會慣嘅，即係 it's a matter of awareness and exposure， 即係又或者甚至可以去到一個點係佢見你做得多，佢自己都會 motivated to 做咯，即係原來唔係咁 rare 嘅一件事，原來係 doable， 原來 it's like perfectly normal。 Again， 冇嘢係一日之內可以改變，但係 I guess having this awareness 已經係一個 major difference。我諗我呢集 end on 一個 Dr. Seuss 嘅 quote 啦，呢一個我喺之前嘅 IG post 有 share 過嘅，我自己真係好中意，因為佢 interestingly was written all the way back in 1971年，但係 it still needs to be heard today. It's all still so relevant. 呢一個 quote 係 from 本書叫做 The Lorax 啦，咁 The Lorax 係一個你當一個 magical creature， 即係佢He speaks for the trees， 即係佢 kind of advocate for 要好好保護我哋嘅環境啦，我哋唯一一個地球咁樣啦。咁嗰句係 Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better。 咁呢集講到呢度啦，我哋下集見。